Bronze and Modern Gods. I'm John.
And I'm Richard.
Richard, it's a great week because so many birthdays this past week. Mickey Dolenz had a birthday.
Happy birthday, Mickey.
Monkeys. ABC's Martin Fry had a birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Mr. FRY.
F-R-Y. We're big music nuts here on this podcast. Oh, comic books. All the usual stuff. We've got underrated books of the week. We've got the old fart rule for you old farts. Lots of viewer mail. And of course, Richard, this hot book of the week was tailor-made for you to take it away.
Yes, this is my sweet spot. X-Men number 132, Marvel. Uncanny X-Men, let's say. The title changed number of times over the years. First appearance of the Hellfire Club as a team. First appearance of the Black Bishop. First appearance of the White Bishop. First appearance of Tessa. There's a lot of first appearances. This is John Byrne on art, Claremont on story, and it is awesome. One of my favorite storylines, the whole Dark Phoenix saga. High grades for this book. I'm going for about $65. I've been touting this book and 133 and the 129. All the stories that are around this time in the X-Men lore are just amazing. Claremont at his best writing. Byrne doing his normal incredible artwork. It's a great time to be buying comics. 90-day GPA for this book, CGC 98 is going for $525, which is down from his 12-month of $566. But I think even at those prices, this is a great buy. This is a book that is going to consistently hold this value. And I think if you find a good example of this book, I would pick it up. I always do. Whenever I come across a decent copy, it's on my auto buy list.
You want to get depressed real quick?
Sure.
It's 44 years old.
Jeez. So, boy.
That is 44 years old.
That is hard to believe. That is hard to believe.
I mean, people were speculating on X-Men back in the day, so there's not a dearth of copies, high-grade copies, but it is a 44-year-old book that's been absorbed into many, many PCs, and people aren't letting them go. And with X-Men 97 coming up, will we see the Hellfire Club appear in X-Men 97, the cartoon? Did you see what they did to Rogue's butt?
Why leave Rogue's butt alone?
I love a good meme. But yeah, it's just amazing that we're looking at going on, in the next, let's all do math together. In 6 years, that book will be 50 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not even 50 years old, Richard. That's crazy.
Of course not, John.
Hey, support the show. It's a great time to segue right into becoming a member here on YouTube for the cost of $2.99 a month. You know the deal. It's less than a coffee bean and tea leaf.
That's true.
Less than a Dunkin' coffee. Much less than a Starbucks. You can show your support. You know the perks. Look, you've got live member-only streams like on Friday where we have members come on and do show and tell. We've had a really good success doing that the last few weeks. Lots of people lined up. Richard, member-only show and tell is booked through the second week of April.
Awesome.
So
it's a lot of fun too. We recorded one this past Friday, and it was a great time. We had awesome guests, David from Still 35 Cents. It's just a good time. If you enjoy the show as you see it now, you'll enjoy the back and forth we do with the audience during our live streams.
And that's not all. You also have a bonus episode on Wednesdays that is members only. And we also make sure that we shout out our new members. Look, names. Just hit the join button. It's right here on YouTube next to the subscribe button below. And if you're watching this on Monday, the live premiere, I'm going to give away another free gift membership randomly right now. So watch the live chat and see if you got a free gift membership. Show and tell screen. Say it backwards like Zatanna. Go.
I can't. I can't.
Oh, fine. You're no fun. You got to learn how to say that backwards soon.
I do. I do need to learn to be like Zatanna. I learn to wear those fishnets.
Hey, how much would you guys pay as a member to see Richard in fishnets? Let me know in the comments while I show you someone who is just completely does not need fishnets. That would be Shana the She
Oh,
Devil.
love that book.
Shana the She Devil, number one from 1972. Classic Jim Steranko cover.
Mhm.
You know it, you love it. Do you have one of these, Richard?
I have had several over the years. I'm not sure if I have one currently in my collection, but I pick it up whenever I see it.
The Dave Stevens of his day, would you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, there is some cheesecake, there's some good girl art. Um, Problem I have with this cover, I like the composition. I see what he's doing by creating an X here, but look where she's holding the spear. By the way, there's a thumbs down. I don't know how that happened. She's holding it at the very end.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's yeah.
Wouldn't the weight, okay, I'm being picky now, but
Well, I was looking more at where the end of that spear is ending up. If she goes back with that spear, poor somebody's gonna have a little bit of problems there in
I,
the corner box.
I know, but look at her animal friends are all there. It's like a Disney movie. Um, Only ran 5 issues, but she has stuck around. She has had staying power,
Mhm.
and this is just a beautiful
Nice picture
copy.
frame, yeah.
I think it's like a 9.4. I should send this in somewhere. Um, I'm not going to say where yet. Boy, wait till we get to viewer mail. There's a teaser for you. We have a nightmare story for you. What is your first piece of show and tell memorabilia?
Here's a great cover. This is Marauders #3 from the recent series. This is Ji Hung Lee did this artwork. I just love this. This is the Virgin cover. There is a cover with the trade dress on it. You've got Kitty Pryde and her dragon Lockheed phasing through a wall, and it's an all white background for those on the podcast. It's just a fun exploration of Kitty Pryde's powers, and demonstrating them. It looks kind of, the all white makes her look like she's coming out of a bunch of, wall made of milk or
A
something.
milk bath. She's having a milk bath with me.
Yeah, it depends on your perspective. There's no significant value for this book,
Which is
unless you
strange. That's a great cover.
isn't it? Isn't it? I thought so too. It's you could buy this all day long for around $20. To me, it's a great buy. I like it because it is such a unique composition and it's just a great looking cover.
These covers, where it's like one primary color or lack thereof in this case, and the characters blending into it. You have that Iron Man one and the Spider-Man one.
Mhm.
The Wolverine yellow one is probably the most famous one, but I do like all those, and they seem to command a premium, except for that one, which is weird.
It is weird, and his artwork is exemplary. He does some really, really good variants.
Going back to our Friday live streams for members, we were discussing our show and tell there, and I showed off a copy of Doctor Who Weekly #1 from the UK. And someone, I think it was Bronzeville Comics, someone in the comments was being funny, and they were like, so I said, we both agree Tom Baker is the best doctor ever. And I think Bronzeville Comics said Peter Cushing, and I laughed, and I got the reference. But here's Peter Cushing as Doctor Who. In Doctor Who and the Daleks, one shot based on the movie from 1966. Yeah, 1966. First appearance of Doctor Who in US comics.
Awesome.
And I gotta wonder, was this movie popular enough in the States to warrant this Dell one shot? I guess so.
I mean, think about it. It was popular with us. I mean, it may not have been mainstream popular, but there was a big enough audience watching UHF
But
to
this is
be into it.
66. This is before it made it to US TV. This was based on the movie. This was a theatrical movie that
Oh, that's
was
a good
made in
point.
the UK and came out here in the States as well. Maybe a matinee, Saturday matinee. It's a 7.0 off white to white pages. I have pressed this and cleaned it. I think 7.0 is as good as it's going to get, even though it's in an old label. Um, I've had this for years. Never saw the need to upgrade. I think this will do it. Have you ever seen this book?
I have not. No, not at all.
Here it is. Look who's getting top billing there. It is, Doctor Who and the Daleks in big font.
The Daleks are just such a weird, evil enemy. You know what I mean? It's basically this little little animal,
Pepper pot.
yeah, inside that giant structure. And to me, it's just ungainly. All you got to do is tip the damn thing over, and what is it going to do?
It is a Thal from the planet Skaro. Get it right. And they are inside their little tanks. They're
Yeah.
just yeah.
It's definitely, it screams 1960s British science fiction.
It sure does, and I am here for it. What is your next piece of show and tell?
Next piece is a book I bought. Boy, this is pre-pandemic, right around there.
Oh
Empire
man,
number 12, the first appearance of Batman Who Laughs. You see the $40 tag on there. I paid, I think, half of that back when I bought this new. I just looked it up on eBay. It's going for around 40 still. So, it's about hovering there.
it's come back to earth, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it has come back to earth. Batman Who Laughed was an interesting character. I hope DC does something in the future with that whole universe. This is first appearance. I mean, as first appearance, I think $40 is good, is a good price for it right now. If DC ever does anything in the future, you may see some movement on this.
I'm curious as to why DC has not done anything with the Batman Who Laughs in the animated sense.
Oh my
Wouldn't it?
goodness,
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
that'd be perfect. Yeah.
Maybe it's in production and we just don't know. A couple weeks ago, we were talking monkeys, the monkeys, and somebody in the comments when we were showing off my monkeys #1 said, "Do you have any more monkeys books to show?" So I pulled out one of my big guns. I have a couple of monkeys big guns. This is just one of them, and this is the monkeys #3, 9.6 file copy. And
You drew mustaches in all their faces?
no, luckily they came pre-drawn. One of those wacky adventures where the monkeys are wearing fake mustaches. Not sure why, because they're not doing anything but posing in front of Mickey's snare drum or behind Mickey's snare drum.
It was the monkeys, were a creation of the era, a take on the Beatles and the wackiness of Hard Day's Night. And um, but out of that, they grew their own audience, their own personalities. So,
Well, and they also took over. Don Kirshner famously was in charge of all the music, and they were at first okay with that, and then Don Kirshner, like without the Monkees' knowledge, released a second album called More of the Monkees that Mike Nesmith charitably called the worst record ever made. It's also a huge seller, so sorry, Mike. And then they famously asserted their independence and said, "We're going to control the music from now on." Mickey taught himself how to play drums. Can you imagine? You're filming a TV show during the day, and then at night you're going to the recording studio and teaching yourself how to play drums while you're recording your third album.
wow. Wow.
Crazy. My question about this cover is, I want to hear the conversation between the photographer and Mike Nesmith to get him to wear that fake mustache. I want to know how the photographer made that happen, because having known Mike, it probably was not an easy conversation. What is your next? Oh, do you have more of the monkeys?
I do not have more monkeys. I have a foil version
Oh,
of
yeah.
Sorprendente
El
Hombre.
sorprendente,
Uh-huh.
el sorprendente hombre araña.
Hombre Araña. Okay. This is the Mexican Spider-Man where Gwen Stacy marries Peter Parker. And it's a whole alternate universe kind of storyline before they did alternate universes. I guess Gwen Stacy was so popular in Mexico that they just could not kill her off like she was supposed to. So instead, they had a whole storyline where Peter and her were married, and later on, it turns out to be just a dream. But this, the actual original book of this is a super expensive when you can find it. It is super rare, almost non-existent in high grade because these books were not, made with the best quality paper. But this is a reprint done by La Mole. I believe I'm pretty sure is La Mole.
Was that the Lamole, or was that a British, or sorry, a German reprint? Because I
No,
know.
no, 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 no. This was La Mole.
Oh wow.
There's this one, this foil, and then there is another one, yellow cover, like the original. I got these a while ago off eBay. They go for like $300, as raws. They're not inexpensive. I don't know the print run, but this whole story is so popular that there have been several reprints, and the reprints are just horrible quality in German and sometimes translated into English. But even those crappy reprints go for 60 some plus bucks on eBay. I mean, this because people just really enjoy this kind of story. But yeah, this reprint I have not actually. I refuse to crack the spine because it's just such great
Yeah.
condition. This is 9.8.
Read it
I
on.
have the other cover too, which is also a 9.8, and eventually I'm going to submit them to a certain grading company.
Speaking of La Mole, it's happening next weekend in Mexico City, and I know we really have to go next year.
Yeah.
This is the first year I've missed in 3 years, so we have to take you and have you experience La Mole. And I'll tell you guys, unless you know something I don't, and you're keeping it a secret, which you should. All of the flea markets and bookstores, they're completely cleaned out of the La Princess down there now. Who grabbed them all? I wonder who. All right, let's move on to your favorite segment and mine. It's called Viewer Mail.
You've got mail.
I can start off, Richard. My first piece of viewer mail is a nightmare story. Comes to us direct from our friend Eric Spicer, who emailed us at bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com. Eric writes, "You guys were right. Grade what you love and avoid CGC like the plague." Well, for now. From now on, it's CBCS for everything. But they need to fix their slab labels. Almost no curb or display appeal at all. Add a cool hologram or some holofoil. Couldn't hurt. Eric, have you seen the new labels? We kind of like them.
Yeah.
Love their signature rating services with Becker. Been awesome for inexpensive LCS bin finds, show signatures, and Instagram pickups. Somehow, CGC got my modern Starship Troopers books done in 9.8 in 4 business days. Full turnaround. Monday delivered there, Friday delivered back to me.
Wow.
Super fast, right?
Wow.
However, yet they somehow completely destroyed my Underworld mini book. Take a look at this, folks.
Oh,
Put it on the screen right now. Some Hulk hands with a lack of Red Bull definitely graded this one. I would have preferred them to say, look, it's tiny. We can't grade or slab it. Sigh. I know the book isn't valuable, but as a movie prop collector, I love books that go with the props in my collection. And Eric sent several photos. Look what they did to this, Richard.
Look at that corner that's just mangled.
They mangled both corners on the front and the back. And when they sealed it, they didn't seal it correctly. So the seal is over the book. See the 3 seals? Yeah. Quality control. These books go through something they call quality control. The QC person didn't look at this and go, oh, this might be wrong.
Right.
Eric, we feel for you. We need a follow-up, Eric. Did you get a refund? Did you tell them? Did you go back? Did you have the books insured? Did you drive down to Sarasota, bang on the doors until someone came out? What happened? We need to know. Thank you for sharing that. It is gross.
Yeah, my apologies. Yeah, I would love to know how CGC makes this right because this is 100% their fault. So they have to do something to make this right.
Yeah, in this case, I'm not sure, but from our experience, they bent my giant size X-Men #1, and I made them take it back and press it and regrade it. It came back 2 points higher. So, and I didn't have to pay for it. Or pay for the grading or pay for the pressing. I would never trust them to press my books again.
No, yeah. Do not trust CCS to pressure books.
Mm-mm.
That is the watchword.
What is your first piece of viewer mail?
My first piece is from a friend of the show, Ariel Estandarte. He sent to our bronzeandmoderngods.com email address, John and Richard. Hey guys, I picked up a copy of X-Men 50 a little while back. It's a book that I have been hunting for a while. My LCS was able to get a copy for me. It's in great condition and I got it at a great price. The owner did alert me that there was tape on the inside spine. It's barely noticeable. It looks like it was placed just to prevent the cover from being pulled and detached. The staples are intact. The cover is attached as well. What are your opinions about it? I'm just going to leave it alone because I don't want to risk damaging it. I was considering sending it in for slabbing, but I might get a purple label. As always, I love the show and especially enjoy the members only ones. Thanks, Ariel. Appreciate you being a member. Yeah, I would not be concerned about the tape on this book. Tape was a regular practice back in the olden days where people would put take tape on the book to reinforce it, as you see in this example. I definitely would not remove it. I don't think you're going to be penalized for the tape if you send it in. Um, I guess it really depends on how extensive the taping is. John,
I'm,
what's your
well,
experience?
I'm looking at the pictures now. I'm going to put one up right here. It is a picture of the tape at the top staple. It looks like it's underneath the staple.
Oh, that could mean the staples have been replaced.
Exactly. It looks like, Ariel, you take a look at it. You've got the book in hand, but I'm going to put this on the screen. If you look, this little strip of tape is underneath the staple at the top. So
Yeah.
I'm concerned that this book was disassembled at some point. This tape was put there to reinforce the spine, and then it was reassembled or something. That jumped out at me. Don't mess with it. It's done. What's done is done. From what I see, it would be tough to remove the tape without removing the staples again. So, if you're gonna slab it, it might get a purple label because,
You think?
well, look at the placement of the tape. Something happened. That
Yeah.
tape did not magically appear underneath
Yeah.
the staple.
Yeah. If this tape is under the staple, that's a good sign that the staples may have been replaced, and you will get a purple label for replacing the staples.
Yeah, unless, they might be the original staples, but you have to be really good at replacing them when you put them back together. Ariel, I don't know, man. It didn't.
Don't touch it. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you manage to get the tape off, you're going to have discoloration, and
Mhm.
it's just not worth it.
Right.
Uh, Submit it as it's a great comic to submit. It looks like it's in great shape. Um, I would still submit it. I
You would?
I would. I would. Well, because I lust after an X-Men 50. You know me. I've been looking for a good one myself.
You take a
Uh,
purple.
I would send it in to see what I would get. If I got a purple, I would still keep it slabbed. I think the book is worth that. There's a potential it's going to get a blue label as well, and $40. Well, maybe a little bit more than 40 because this is a vintage book. But I think I'd roll the dice with this book.
Ariel, you decide. We're split on this one. This is like Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, take a chance. At worst, you protect the book. In a slab. That's worth the price of admission.
There you go. My next piece of viewer mail comes from one of our members, Hank, who emailed us at bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com. Hello, John. Hello, Richard. Greetings from the wilds of Northwest New Jersey. I didn't react quickly enough to last night's members only extravaganza when Bronze and Modern Gods rabbit holes were mentioned. We were talking about going down different rabbit holes of collecting. Once you clued me in that Archie Jumbo Comics Double Digest number 348, the latest issue, features the shield, I just had to have one. I ordered directly from Archie Comics, so no premium or price spike. Even with postage, I only paid a little bit over cover price. I was surprised though when I received the direct edition, which has an exclusive cover featuring the shield rather
Sweet.
than the one you featured. Here is the one I saw in the grocery store. You know, Archie, Betty, and Veronica on a toboggan.
Mhm.
Timely. Here is the one that Hank received in the mail. I
Wow.
want that.
I don't blame you. That's an awesome cover.
It was good to be on the hunt and to be pleasantly surprised upon opening the package. It's what keeps the hobby interesting after all these decades. I'm an even older fart than you guys. Keep up the stellar work. Best, Hank Wagner. Hank, now I have to order Archie Jumbo comics from Archie because I want
Yeah,
that shield.
for the podcast listeners, it's a the this layout is like a classic golden age book where you've got the shield logo across the top, and then in a circle you've got the shield in his fighting pose against a white background. It's a great looking cover.
It's crazy because they printed, it doesn't have the Archie Jumbo Comics logo on it. It literally says the shield, and it was a direct edition. How many LCSs do you think ordered Archie Jumbo Comics?
7.
Exactly. This has to be an incredibly scarce book. Now, granted, I'm not saying run out and go buy a million copies of Archie Jumbo Comics number 348 for this cover, but there's only got to be less than 1,000 of these out
Yeah,
there.
and kudos from ordering it directly from Archie. You'd be amazed at the special treatment you get when you order directly instead of going through a distributor. Um, I've gotten some neat things when I've ordered cherry pop tarts, for example, directly from Larry, as opposed to ordering it from a distributor.
I bet you have. What is your next piece of your mail?
My next piece is from Dark Jess from our email, bronzeandmoderngods.com. It's a little bit of a long one, so bear with me. Hi, John and Richard. I always enjoy the show. Thank you. On your January 15th show, you spoke about Uncanny X-Men number 143 and referred to it as a knockoff of the movie Alien. I wanted to share some backstory that helps a reader appreciate the aspect of the issue. When John Byrne drew Kitty Pryde in her debut issue number X-Men number 129, he based her on a real person. According to interviews, when drawing the smart, spunky young Jewish girl, he attempted to envision what actress Sigourney Weaver would have looked like when she was Kitty's age. Once you know that, it's challenging to look at his early depictions of Kitty without thinking of a kid version of the character Sigourney Weaver is best known for portraying Ripley in the Alien franchise. Doing a story that was a knockoff of the movie Alien was almost inevitable. Marvel did not shy away from the alien likeness of the issue, but embraced it. In fact, the teaser for issue 143, located at the end of the previous issue, was a riff off the slogan for the ad company for the movie. The movie slogan was "In space, no one can hear you scream," and the issue's teaser was "When you're alone, Kitty Pryde, no one can hear you scream." I never put that association together. That is awesome. These types of backstories enhance my enjoyment of a good comic, so I thought I would share this in case you felt the same and hadn't already heard it. Regards, Dark Jess. Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. That's really cool. When John had mentioned the the parallels between Kitty and the aliens, I never really put it together as tightly as this. Having that backstory from John Byrne is also just awesome. So thank you so much for sharing, and I hope the rest of the readers and listeners enjoy it as well.
Thank you, Dark Jess. Uh, Obviously, an X-Men fan. My next piece of viewer mail comes to us from our Gmail at bronzeandmoderngods at gmail.com from someone called Me Home. Hello. What comic shops do you recommend I can visit in Long Beach, California? I have a half day to spend in the area next week and would like to visit the better joints in the area. I recently found your channel and subscribed. The info and experience you share with the audience is priceless. I've learned more watching this channel than I've learned in a while. Thank you for enhancing my hobby experience. Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank
eHome.
you.
Nice of you to say. If you only have a half day, you have to go to Pulp Fiction. That's my LCS here in Long Beach. Ryan, the owner, is a great guy who loves comics. That's the key. He loves the medium. He stocks all
Yep.
sorts of indies, small publishers, along with Marvel and DC and everything.
And he watches
Nice.
the show. Hi, Ryan.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And he has some great back issues, tons of dollar bins. You're gonna find bargains in there for days. Lots of sets, and lots of graphic novels, some manga. So definitely Pulp Fiction. If you have a little time after that, head over to Amazing Comics on Stearns Road here, a little bigger shop, not as friendly, frankly, but more selection of new stuff, not so much back issues. And then, if you happen to have any extra time and you have a car, go gotta drive 45 minutes north to Burbank to go to House of Secrets. If I was going to take you anywhere in Southern California, I would take you to House of Secrets in Burbank. It is an experience like no other. Richard, you have been there.
Yes, absolutely. John is spot on. I will say, going to a comic book store in John's neck of the wood is like being a vampire and going to the city that Dracula lives. Everything is going to be picked over. So,
Pennsylvania.
but yeah, I've been out and visited John, and he's taken me to. We haven't been to Burbank though.
I've taken you to House of Secrets once, I think.
Okay.
That was the place by all the TV studios, and they have like pages of comic books, real literal pages, like shellacked to the floor.
Oh, okay.
And
I
yeah,
don't remember that. Next time I come out, maybe we'll go.
for sure.
Refresh my memory. But
Uh,
yeah, John, this is John's neck of the woods, so be careful.
I don't take everything. Enjoy me home. Richard, what is your last piece of your mail?
My last piece is from friends of the show, Collecting Casually. Um, I've got Richard to thank for turning me on to Dave Stevens a few years ago when I first found this channel. I picked up Planet Comics #1 in 8.5 last year, but would love to upgrade it to a 9.8 someday. Now, quiet down on the Dave Stevens chat so I can finish my cover collection quest without going broke. Yeah, Dave's been heating up. Yeah, I've been hot on Dave Stevens since his books started coming out. It's just the artwork, especially what really got me into it is the Rocketeer, and just the realism and the colors and if you've seen some of those Rocketeer covers and even the Rocketeer book, Dave Stevens just knocks it out of the park, and he takes that same kind of 30s, 40s vintage aspect to his work through a lot of his covers, and it just feels right to me. So yeah, I hear you about if you haven't gotten all of the covers now. He's starting to heat up again. I wish you luck. I hope you get all the covers while they're still affordable.
Yeah, Richard, I was looking and I had never heard of this book until this week when all this Dave Stevens talk all of a sudden. Have you ever seen this Bad Planet #6 from Image?
No, I am not. That is news to me. And looking at the price on eBay, it's probably a very small print run.
We're a little late on this one. It's already going. People are asking, I should say, they're asking $300 plus for this. I'm not sure what the actual sold prices are. Let's see. Let's discover for ourselves. Okay, I see one sold for $29.
Oh,
One sold for
that's more.
154, 125. Another one sold that's described as near mint for $501 on February 26th. So it's all over the place. But I've
Let's
never seen this. This strikes me as a book in your area, in the desolation of Ohio, that if you go through some back issue boxes, you might be able to find this.
That's good. That's a good thing to know. It is not Dave Stevens' typical subject matter. If you it's on the cover, there is this alien warrior looking dude, and he's holding a woman unconscious in his arms. If
I,
you look at her
I
legs,
would
you could
say that's
tell
the
that.
same.
Huh?
His unconscious woman with a torn dress sounds like Dave Stevens to me.
Yeah, it does, but, the face, the composition, I guess,
Yeah.
if it there's elements of it that scream Dave Stevens, but her face, for example, doesn't as much. So,
Yeah.
I would not have called this out. I mean, Dave has such a distinctive style, I don't think I would have been able to call this out, strangely enough, except for the feet. The feet are definitely Dave Stevens' feet. He loved feet.
This is a touted as the final Dave Stevens cover. So I never seen this before, and
Yeah,
I can't
it's
imagine a Bad Planet #6 has huge orders.
no, I doubt it very much. Yep, he's got Dave Stevens. He did it in 2008, according to the signature on
There
the
you go.
cover. So yeah, definitely a piece to have if you're a Dave Stevens fan.
You're going to a show tomorrow, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been to a show for a while, so this is going to be an opportunity to kind of get a feel for the pulse for the market right now. The last time the dealers were pretty desperate when we were out at California Comic Con. So let's see what the temperature looks like today.
Are you going to look at for a Bad Planet #6?
Of course, yeah. I'm
And
gonna dig through the bins looking for it.
another Dave Stevens rarity is there's a variant cover for DV8 #1, the letter D, the letter V, the number 8 #1, which is an image book from the 90s. So you might want to look for that too.
Collecting Casualty is going to kill you for calling these books out.
Sorry. Well, make it up to him by following him on YouTube, Collecting Casually, great channel. And one of us, he is also an old fart. That's a segue we call the old fart rule. Yeah. Richard, you pick this. You go for it. I have stuff to add to this when you were done. Go.
Okay. I want to preface this by saying I never read this title back in the day. Never read it. I saw it all the time, but never read it. It is Grimjack's #1 from First Comics back in 1984. It originated as a backup story in Star Slayer's #10. John Ostrander and Timothy Truman. Truman drew, Ostrander wrote the stories. They are credited as the co-creators for the character. His street name was John Gaunt, and he was a sword for hire in a universe where magic and swordsmanship were important. He was an ex-military, a war veteran, and a former child gladiator.
Sure.
Sure, I never thought I'd ever say those words. This series ran for 81 issues. With issue 55, they changed primary characters. John Twilly, a future incarnation of Gaunt, was introduced as the timeline jumped forward 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a story I read. So there are a number of spin-off series based on Grimjack. There's Grimjack Case Files, Grimjack Killer Instinct. Um, First Comics went out of business and tied up the rights for Grimjack for years. It took the creators over a decade, 12 years, to actually get the rights to the character again. There's talk in 2019 of doing an animated series for this. Well, 2019 was a million years ago in terms of any kind of movement on work like that. Cheap book. The peak for the book was 9.8 sold for $200 last year. An average, it was the sole 9.8 that sold. 9.6 average is about $64. So if you're a Grimjack fan, you can get this first issue in a reasonable amount of money.
I can't believe it ran 81 issues. I never read this either. The only blush I had with Grimjack, there are a couple things. He used to hang out at a place called Munden's Bar in the book, and the only reason I know that is because Munden's Bar was a backup series, I believe, in Nexus for a while. And in the Badger, the main character from Munden's Bar had a little backup strip in the Badger for a while. That's my only taste of Grimjack. Also, Tim Truman hired him to do Grateful Dead art when I was at my old job. The company hired him, not me personally. But he is a huge Grateful Dead fan. He drew Grateful Dead comics for a while when that was a thing with Kitchen Sink Comics. And we my former employer had him employed to do things in the Grateful Dead Almanac. Each year in the Grateful Dead Almanac, they would print a physical almanac and have Tim Truman art in it. And I would always look at it and make everybody around me at work confused when I would say, "Hey, that's the guy that created Grimjack." And they would look at me with glassy-eyed stares like, "What are you talking about, John?" Um, Grimjack, perennial dollar bin favorite.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you are interested, you can probably go on eBay and type in Grimjack lot before anything's announced and get all 81 issues for 81 bucks.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. That's my main exposure to Grimjack is flipping through long boxes and coming across Grimjack 17. It's always just been one of those books that you can find easily.
We take them for granted too, as much as we're talking about 80s independence resurging, possibly. I was at a garage sale 3 weeks ago here in Southern California. There's that thing again. Honestly, I'm not doing it on purpose, you guys. Um, and the guy had a bunch of comic books. And that's the reason I went. And he had like a run of American flag, like 2 through 20 for $1 each. And they were all in Mylars and they were all like 9.6, 9.8s. And I went through them and I thought to myself, I should just pick up. No, I left them. I didn't want to bring them home and deal with it. And
Yeah. I had the same experience with a bunch of mint Cerebus, from 30 on. Just a whole stack of them, and they were 50 cents a piece. And this I looked at them and I thought, I gotta store these things.
that's it. I thought, oh, my A box is already overflowing.
Mhm.
Uh, I kind of have a new rule now. If something's going in, something's got to go out,
Yeah.
or it doesn't come in. And we'll see how long if I move into a new house with like 2 more extra bedrooms and a basement, maybe.
Yeah, there's a rule. That's a great rule because, we both have spouses that
Hmm?
will not accept long box furniture in the living room, right? So there's a limit to how much
Yes.
how much comics we can have in the house.
And that rule goes both ways with clothing. Something comes in, something's got to go out. You're buying a new pair of shoes or a bag or something. Uh, it's got to go on. Something's got to go on Poshmark, be sold. Uh, that is, oh, by the way, if you have ever gone to Poshmark and you have like designer clothing you want to sell, it's great. It's very underrated, like our underrated books of the week. That's a strange segue, Richard. Take it away.
My underrated book this week is Prodigy #1 from Image Comics back in 2018. It's the first issue of a 6-issue series. Features an African American super spy who is also incredible. It's his level of intelligence is beyond what a normal human has. It's part of the fun of the series is realizing that. This book spiked back in 2021 because there was rumors of it being optioned. This is a Mark Millar property. Mark Millar and the Millar universe or Millar verse. He has a whole series of stories that are all excellent and they're always threatening to be optioned by one studio or another. This story is really exciting. The plot twist of the ending at the end of the story is great. I think it would make a great movie, a great live action movie. It would be amazing. I've talked about this book before a couple years ago. I remember talking about it, but I think it's an even better buy now. It's really cooled off because there's the rumors of the optioning is years ago. You can get the 9.8, the high back then in August of 2021 was $205. You can get a 9.8 now for $24 as of last month.
Man, the dip is
Yeah,
real.
at that point, it becomes it's just a great option to buy. If I could buy a 9.8 of a first appearance of a character from someone from the caliber of Mark Millar for $24, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, it's a good buy at these prices. Mark Millar, he's circling studios. At some point, someone's going to say, instead of having some unknown write the story. I have in my notes here Argyle, the movie that just aired recently. Um, don't get me wrong. Henry Cavill is one of my favorite actors of all time. Um, but yeah, this wasn't that great of a movie. Instead of pulling in a character like that, use a writer like Mark Millar and get a story. You want diversity? It's an African American character. You want action adventure? You don't have to worry about superheroes. It's not a superhero character. He is a spy, or in that avenue. I think it's a great pickup, and my favorite, just like all books of the past 2 decades, it seems, at least, there are a number of variant covers. Cover H is the virgin cover for the A cover. It's a yellow background with the main character sitting, holding his gun. It's a great storyline. Read all 6 issues. You won't be disappointed.
Very cool. I remember you talking about that. I think that was one of your hot books of the week at one point
Mhm.
in 2021. All right. Before everybody gets in the comments, I'm going to protect Richard here. It's Mark Millar. Even though,
Is it?
yeah,
I
even though
thought it was pronounced Millar.
you guys in the comments back me up if I'm wrong, but I believe it's spelled Millar, but he pronounces it Miller. So, it's all right. I hear you.
Is this another Neil Gaiman?
Kind of is. Gay man. My underrated book of the week is Eightball, number 23, the classic Fantagraphics series by Daniel Clowes. This issue, however, features the classic story called The Death Ray. Richard, have you ever read this?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you'd love this. I don't want to spoil it. Let's just say the ultimate adolescent power fantasy in this issue, but how it might actually play out in real life. By that, I mean the protagonist, Andy, gets a death ray inherited to him from his superhero father, I believe. It can eliminate anyone. So, does Andy use it for good? Sure. But boy, he really uses it, maybe in some ways that are not so good, all while seeing himself as a superhero. It's up for the reader to decide. It's a
Mhm.
classic story. It won many awards. I believe it won an Eisner. What's crazy, this book sells for $40 to $50 raw on eBay. And
Wow.
no idea, which the irony, the delicious irony of Daniel Clowes having a book hot on the collector's market, because he was famous for a character called Daniel Pussy, who was, a parody of comic book collectors that buy books and back issues, and now he has an expensive back issue. This is a cautionary tale in more than one ways. It's a cautionary tale about how absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's also a cautionary tale for me personally, because here is my copy of Eight Ball
Oh,
number
no.
20. If you're on the podcast, I am showing off my copy, which has been bent all to hell from being stored improperly in a magazine box that was too uh, short, because this is very nearly tabloid size, and I did not realize that. And it was in a magazine box with a lid on it. It closed okay. I then put another box of CGC slabs on top of it for years, and this was the result. So, what am I going to do with this, Richard? I think I'm going to try to press it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, or any spine ticks or anything permanent
Nope,
that you can see.
nothing is color breaking. That's the amazing part.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, it's an all black cover with a figure on the cover. Yeah, that's a good thing to try to press a thicker book.
yeah, so follow us on Instagram. I will take plenty of photos and take you along the journey. It's just so beautifully done. The art is great. It's a great story. If you like Ghost World, you'll love this. It's Eight Ball number 23. So check it out. Is that like the most depressing thing you've seen this week?
Oh yeah, that's at least it's not color breaking, so it is correctable.
It's been sitting in that box. Gosh, it's got to be at least 10 years at this point with that bend. So let's see. Follow us on the journey and follow us.
Very pressure.
Yes, right here, Bronze and Modern Gods. Hit like if you have not hit like, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And we will catch you Wednesday, members, on the special members only episode. Everybody else, we'll catch you next week.
Everybody, stay safe.